Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. Yesterday, I told you about Tro Rotation and the work I've been doing with the previous midpoint. I revisited that work. Been doing that since the early 2000s. Well, I made an improvement to the indicator, or what I think are improvements, and I also did a couple more indicators too. And what I realized about the previous midpoint, it's something obvious, but what's obvious usually isn't seen or noticed a lot of the times. The midpoint, that's the aqua colored dot. For price to go up and make a new high right now, it has to go through that midpoint. Now, right now it's below it, so that's the side of the trade you want to be on. But you see here that the previous midpoint, price is stuck in between. It's kind of a no man's land. We don't know what price is doing. But if we can get the close above the current midpoint, and the current midpoint's above the previous midpoint, we've got a strong up move. Now you see we've got the current midpoint above the previous midpoint, but the price is below both of them, and we had a weak down move. And you can see what's happening here. There's the rotation arrow. And you can see here on the previous mid, we are on the 5-minute time frame, and you can see here the bright green or lime tells us we have a strong move. In other words, current mid above previous mid, close above the current mid. That's a strong up move. Now, the previous mid multimeter gives more indication than just the rotation. The rotation tells us what has happened, you see, or what is happening in the rotation. But you see, the previous mid has a little more logic in it, and it tells us whether or not we have a strong move, a weak move. And I have them both up there at the same time. Now, what you want to do is you can look out here at the daily or the 4-hour, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly, and you can get an indication which way price wants to go. What is the bias for these longer time periods? So you can think in terms of pullbacks, strong moves. I hate to use the word trend. I think you guys know that. I just don't believe in those concepts, because bias says this is the way price is moving. This is what it's biased. It's biased going up. I don't like to say it's a trend, because when you switch time frames, you're going to switch trends, and it just gets into, I think, a pointless discussion. So also, I'm keeping track here of the history, so you can see, you can look here and see whether or not this thing works, whether or not it gives you a good indication. So you can see here we had a couple of weak moves to the downside. That's what the maroon color is. And then all of a sudden we had a strong move to the upside. And you can see here what happened after we got that strong move. And so indicators like this usually work best when they flip. So you see here it went from maroon to green, and then that stayed, so we got that flip. Now, of course, everything's subject to change when you're dealing with price, and you can see here how the indicator is giving you live readings. It's going back and forth along with price. Some people say it's repainting. It's not repainting. It's telling you what's going on at the time, in the moment. That's what you want, because that's how you trade, in the moment. So once again, can see here on the higher time frames, we've up, but right now we just had news come out and we're coming down. So the main thing to take away, what I'm trying to get you to understand today, is when you look at this current midpoint, the current midpoint, you want to trade away from it. Okay? Because see here, when it was above, now it's below. You want to trade away from that current midpoint. Because right now, if you went long, there's a chance that you might be profitable. So right here, it's above. But we're on a low time frame here, M5. Let's switch over to M15, see if we get a better reading, or probably H1 might give us the best reading. And you can see here, it's between the dots. It doesn't know which way it wants to go. It made a new high. It's retracing or pulling back. It's still above the previous, but it's below the current. So right here, this is a stand aside, wait, let's see what price does before we do anything. But if you really want to do some scalping, or you're just going in for a few pips, you can see here with the rotation how the dots flipped. And in fact, I dusted off some hold indicators. Where is it? I believe it's this one, the midlines. And we want to show both lines. And you can see here what happens when these lines cross. And you can also see here when you get the congestion or consolidation, and then when they flip again. So that's the latest. I hope that may help you in your trading, considering the midpoints. Sometimes I just like to watch. You can see it here. It's rotating back up. But you can get an idea of how to use this. So if you have any questions, you know where to find me. You can email, you can call me on my cell phone, you can hit me on the forums. And as always, fellow traders, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. TheRumpledOne signing off.